For the wild yet utterly domestic tale I'm about to tell, I neither expect nor ask for your belief. Madness alone could demand faith where my own senses rebel against their evidence. Yet I am not mad, and I do not dream. I married young, and my wife shared my affection for animals. Our home teemed with birds, goldfish, a fine dog, rabbits, a small monkey, and a striking black cat named Pluto. My superstitious wife half-jokingly spoke of old tales that black cats were witches in disguise, though she never truly believed it. I alone fed Pluto, and he followed me through every room, and nearly down the street, like a shadow. For years our friendship endured, until, under the influence of alcohol, a fiend I now confess I served, my temperament soured. Day by day I grew more moody, irritable, and callous. I began speaking harshly to my wife, even threatening her with violence. My other pets suffered neglect and cruelty, too, though I still held back from harming Pluto. But alcohol's disease deepened, and even Pluto, now old and irritable, felt my growing rage. One night, drunk and stumbling home, I thought the cat was avoiding me. In anger I seized him, and in terror he bit my hand. A demonic fury overtook me, I no longer recognized myself. I drew my penknife, grabbed Pluto by the throat, and deliberately gouged out one of his eyes. Even as I write it, I blush and shudder at the atrocity. The next morning, clear-headed, I felt only fleeting horror and remorse, too weak to touch my soul. I plunged back into drunkenness and soon drowned all memory of the deed. Pluto recovered physically, though his hollow eye socket looked ghastly. He fled from me in fear. For a moment I felt sorrow at his hatred, but irritation soon took its place, and then, as if to seal my doom, the spirit of perverseness. Philosophy ignores perverseness, but I know it to be a primal human impulse, the urge to do wrong for its own sake, simply because it is forbidden. Driven by this cruel compulsion, I resolved to finish my crime. One morning, in cold blood, I looped a noose around Pluto's neck and hanged him from a tree, cried tears as I did it, and felt the bitterest remorse, yet also an irresistible perversity. I knew I sinned a sin so deadly it might even place my soul beyond mercy. For months I could not shake the phantom of that cat. I found myself, strangely, regretting its loss, and I scoured the seedy taverns I frequented, hoping to find another cat like Pluto. One night, in a den more vile than any grave, I noticed a large black cat perched atop a gin barrel. It looked exactly like Pluto, except for a pale, irregular patch of white on its chest. When I touched it, the cat purred and rubbed against me, as if delighted. I tried to buy it from the landlord, who knew nothing of its origins, but the cat followed me home anyway and soon became my wife's favorite. Instead of happiness, its presence filled me with disgust and loathing. The cat loved me so persistently it annoyed me. It crouched beneath my chair, sprang onto my knees, or wrapped its claws in my clothes to climb my chest. I longed to strike it, but dared not. Shame of my past cruelty, and fear of the creature itself, held me back. That fear was not of physical harm, but something I can barely name. My wife had pointed out the white patch on the cat's breast, at first vague, then, almost imperceptibly, becoming more defined. Finally it took on the unmistakable shape of a gallows, the dreadful engine of horror, crime, agony, and death. I became wretched beyond human suffering. Day and night the cat haunted me, by day it followed me without respite, by night I woke from nightmares to feel its hot breath on my face, its weight pressing my chest like a living nightmare I could not shake. Under such torment, whatever goodness remained in me collapsed. Dark and evil thoughts became my only companions. My temper grew violent. My wife, ever patient, endured my blind rages most of all. One day she accompanied me into our basement, the cat trailing behind and nearly tripping me. In madness I raised an axe to strike the animal, but my wife caught my arm. Enraged, I tore my arm free and buried the axe in her skull. She fell, silent and lifeless. With cold deliberation, I set about hiding the body. I considered every method: fire, burial, the well, shipping it away, but settled on walling her up between the cellar walls, as medieval monks once did with their victim. Triumphant, I cleaned every trace of my crime. For the first time in months I slept soundly, undisturbed by the cat, sure it had fled in terror. On the fourth day, police arrived for another search. Confident in my concealment, I led them through every corner. As they prepared to leave, I couldn't resist a final boast. "These walls," I declared, tapping the very spot behind which lay my wife's body, "are solidly put together." No sooner had my cane struck the bricks than a chilling cry, muffled, then swelling into an inhuman scream of horror and triumph, answered me from within the tomb. The officers tore down the wall. There stood my wife's decayed corpse, and perched upon her head, the hideous cat, mouth red and one fiery eye blazing. In my foolhardy pride, I had entombed my tormentor along with my victim, and sealed my own doom.